The Daily Northwestern apologizes to student protesters for the crime of reporting. This is awesome. This is one of my favorite lib snowflake stories in a long time. This one is fantastic. So here's what ended up happening. The Daily Northwestern University is one of the more elite has one of the more elite journalism programs in the country. Some would say perhaps the best, which is kind of funny because journalism as a field of study isn't really a field of study. It's like, I don't know. You learn to read, speak, write, think. You don't need a journalism degree for that. You just need to do those things. Learn the basics and do those things. And everyone that I know who's successful in the field of media will tell you that a journalism degree is, if you want it, God bless, but it's really not necessary. It doesn't really do anything. But editors at Northwestern University's campus newspaper put out an apology because they covered a speaking event where Attorney General Jeff Sessions was giving a speech. Now, let's just former Attorney General, of course, my man Jeff Sessions. Let's just take a moment to recall here that a recently serving Attorney General going to speak at a university, at a minimum, should be an interesting opportunity, even for people who really dislike the speaker, who really dislike the Attorney General. I could tell you that when Al Sharpton was running for I guess it was right before he was running for I forget when he was running for president, but Al Sharpton came to speak at Amherst when I was a student there. And I went and I listened. And I don't think there was a Q&A, but I went and I listened because I wanted to hear what this guy had to say because he's a very, much to, I think, the Democrats' shame, he's a very powerful figure in the Democratic Party, was particularly then. And if you want to run for president on the Democratic side, you kind of have to go get the blessing of the Reverend Al. So I wanted to go hear what this guy had to say. It wasn't particularly worthwhile, but I wasn't protesting outside because I thought I was in college to learn some stuff. But a lot of kids think they're in college to be coddled, to be told that whatever they think and believe, as long as it's what the left thinks and believes, is the only idea, the only way to approach anything. And somebody that would have the gall to challenge that is a big problem. So here's what ended up happening at this Jeff Sessions thing. The editors were sorry, this is from the New York Times, that photographs of some protesters had been shared by reporters on social media. It also said that reporters' efforts to contact students for interviews using Northwestern's directory had been an invasion of privacy. Quote, ultimately, the Daily failed to consider our impact in our reporting surrounding Jeff Sessions. We know we hurt students that night, especially those who identify with marginalized groups. The paper's editor-in-chief signed this. This is amazing. The column got a lot of criticism, obviously, because this is a newspaper on a campus apologizing for taking photos of a public space and a public event that had people in the photos who attend the school because Jeff Sessions speaking is just so, hurtful and scary. And, now I'm in a photo and he's speaking. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is stunning. I can't imagine how anybody could think that this is normal, this is a good idea. I'm trying to find the actual letter, by the way. The apology. Here we go. I'm going to read you the apology. Addressing the Daily's coverage of Sessions protests. Last week, the Daily was not the paper that Northwestern students deserve. On November 5th, former Attorney General Jeff Sessions spoke on campus at a Northwestern University College Republicans event. The Daily sent a reporter to cover that talk and another to cover the student protests of his invitation to campus, along with a photographer. We recognize that we contributed to the harm students experienced, and we wanted to apologize for and address the mistakes that were made that night, along with how we plan to move forward. One area of our reporting that harmed many students was our photo coverage of the event. Some protesters found photos posted to reporters' Twitter accounts re-traumatizing and invasive. I'm just going to say it. If you think that attending a public event at a college where a former cabinet member of an American presidential administration is giving a speech, if you think that your appearance in the background at that event in a photo that the press has taken that's not singling you out is traumatizing, you're too childish to be in college. You should have to go out into the real world, get a job, do something with yourself, learn something about the world, and then maybe go back to college. But you're too immature to be a college student, to be a real college student. If that really re-traumatizes you, oh my gosh. More here. Quote, those photos have since been taken down. On one hand, as the paper of record for Northwestern, we want to ensure students, administrators, and alumni understand the gravity of the events that took place Tuesday night. However, we decided to prioritize the trust and safety, of students who were photographed. We feel that covering traumatic events, first of all, they're describing Jeff Sessions giving a speech as a traumatic event, requires a different response than many other stories. While our goal is to document history and spread information, nothing is more important than ensuring that our fellow students feel safe, and in situations like this, that they are benefiting from our coverage rather than being actively harmed by it. We failed to do that last week, and we could not be more sorry. No! Not accurate, not true. There are more important things than making sure that the snowflakes at Northwestern feel safe. There are more important things. Journalists should know that. The journalists should be presenting truth, should be presenting information and facts. But this is why journalism doesn't really exist. In fact, here's the problem. What they are describing is the reality of the state of modern journalism, which is that it is there to serve. It is a profession that has been hijacked, completely overtaken by liberal activists, and they think their real role is to pander to other liberals with their reporting. They will make good CNN reporters one day. They will make good MSNBC hosts one day. Pander to the left. That is what journalism is. Oh, we're all re-traumatized by Jeff. Jeff Sessions is like a super nice old man. Traumatized by him? I mean, I wish I had the time. I've got to do the show. Otherwise, it would be so fun to just go to some of these campuses when they're going to give one of these speeches and just walk around. I know people have done this before, but I want to do it. Why does Jeff Sessions traumatize you? Oh, because he's, anti-minority and anti-LGBTQ. And how is he those things exactly? I don't know. I heard it from a bunch of other people, and other people have said it, and so I'm saying it. Interesting. More from this apology. We also wanted to explain our choice to remove the name of a protester initially quoted in our article on the protest. Any information the Daily provides about the protest can be used against the participating students. While some universities grant amnesty to student protesters, Northwestern does not. We did not want to play a role in any disciplinary action that could be taken by the university. Huh? They don't want to name, this is a student paper at a university. They don't want to name a protester who gave his name in case the protester decides to start breaking windows and throwing things at people and then maybe gets in trouble. This is the concession that the journos are willing to make. I mean, I understand that there's a lot, there are people that are saying, you shouldn't mock, and this is a college newspaper. No, these are adults. This is an esteemed institution. In fact, if somebody in a few years were to say, oh, I graduated from Northwestern's journalism program, we're all supposed to say, ooh, that's amazing, even though who cares? But it is also telling you, it is showing you exactly where the root of the problem is here. People are learning in these programs at these schools that they are to be ideologues as journalists. This isn't something that occurs. This doesn't happen when they get out in the real world and they're exposed to more information about how journos should do their jobs. No. They are taught this, literally taught this in school. This is part of the curriculum. You have to be a defender of the left if you're going to be a journalist. Otherwise, you're an alt-right troll. You're a white nationalist. You're, all these things, all these smears that intellectually lazy leftists just level at people all the time. That's what it is. That's what you become. To them, that's what they'll say. But I thought this story at Northwestern was just hilarious. Re-traumatizing. Being in a photo in the background of a speech by a major political figure who's running for Senate, by the way, in Alabama, is re-traumatizing. I'm sorry, but I can't accept that an adult would view it that way, and that this would happen. It happens at these very elite schools. It reminds me of when there was that whole ruckus at Yale a few years ago over whether children should be judged by wokeness when they're wearing Halloween costumes. And that maybe there was a discussion we had about this. You had children adults acting like children, shrieking, screaming at professors over that. At Yale. These institutions are increasingly unserious places. Very, very expensive babysitting programs for young adults. That's really what a lot of colleges turned into, including the best colleges. Which is also why when people get so upset about Aunt Becky and the others involved in these college admission schemes, they at least understood one part of this whole game. It's just about getting into these places and then leveraging that credential and perhaps leveraging some of the network you have from the institution as effectively as you can. No one really goes to these places anymore and hasn't, well, I shouldn't say no one. Fewer and fewer people go to these institutions, and the primary motivation for being there is really to learn new stuff that challenges them. Nope. Certainly not the case at Northwestern. But re-traumatized by being in the photo. I mean, the desire to take language and make it sound like ideas you don't like are the equivalent of violence. Or, are the equivalent, like you're going to get PTSD from hearing from a politician from the opposing political party, and therefore you have to shut it down because it's a dangerous and harmful thing to students. I mean, wow. This is where we are, but I suppose as long as the media pretends that this stuff is normal, it's not going to change anytime soon. Are Democrats too invested in their politicians? Do they take political support to a place of internalizing and make it as though it's intrinsic to their identity? Is this a thing that we should be worried about? And I've said for a long time, although people would challenge us in the Trump era, to be sure, but that Democrats worship their leaders, Republicans elect them. I do think that there's a bit of a difference. We certainly saw that in the Obama era. I mean, he was elevated to beyond mortal human status. I mean, Obama was a symbol from the beginning for people on the left, for Democrats, and for a lot of people around the world that went far beyond what he actually was either able to accomplish or anything else. I do think that people still on the right view Trump differently in that they don't worship him as a man, but they are very, very invested in the way that he approaches politics. That all said, here's AOC giving voice to this idea that politicians are more than just people that we elect to do a job. Play 7.
When you elect a politician and then they let you down, it feels like rejection. It feels like heartbreak. It feels like betrayal. And it feels like I never want to love again. That's what that feels like. And so I understand how that feels because I felt that way. But you know what happens when you say, I never want to love again? Your heart gets black and you turn angry and you get very anxious.
I have never loved a politician one day in my life. I'm like, have I ever dated a politician? No. I've never loved a politician one day in my life. I think it's a bizarre way to talk about politicians. But I don't think it's even just rhetorical flourish from AOC. I think that a lot of Democrats really do have, they have an emotional attachment to these political figures. I mean, that's why to this day I'm upset at myself because I was still in the shock of, oh my gosh, Trump is winning. I was home that night. I was doing some radio stuff, and I was doing hits for the Blaze at the time. But I was home, and the Hillary victory party that wasn't a victory was just maybe 15 blocks away from me. I mean, I could have gotten there. I still to this day wish I'd gone, because it would have, I think, been a formative moment in my political understanding to see so many adults shattered and crying because Hillary Clinton wasn't going to be president of the United States. Not George Washington, not Abraham Lincoln, not not Ronald Reagan. No. Hillary Clinton wasn't going to be president, and adults were crying. Oh, they're all in tears. It's horrible. I remember when Mitt Romney lost his second term to Obama, I didn't cry. When Obama won his first term, I didn't cry. I mean, I've never cried over a politician's victory or loss. And I would really question the judgment, and I would question the stability of any emotional stability of anybody who would. But AOC, the emotional drive so much of left-wing thinking and left-wing ideology that it seems totally normal to say that it's a heartbreak when a politician doesn't do what you wanted that politician to do. I thought we were supposed to. I've come from a different place on this. I grew up being told largely by the adults around me, politicians lie. Politicians are not to be trusted and to be held accountable, and it's a trust but verify situation at best, and that there's a lot left to be desired about the way most politicians in American life conduct themselves and whatever. And maybe that's too cynical, but I would just say that that's always been the way I've thought about this. Like, don't put your hopes and dreams in a person. Put your hopes and dreams in the people around you that you love, that you know. Put your hopes and dreams in America overall, but don't think that there's any one person who is going to be the difference maker, the make or break situation for America, because you will be disappointed. You will be disappointed if you do that. I don't think you should be heartbroken, because that's just weird. But the elevation, and I also think the Democrats are a little bit bummed out right now, because this crop of politicians they currently have that they're putting forward, nobody can really pretend that they're inspirational. I mean, nobody really thinks that there will be tears of joy if Joe Biden were to win, let's say, because Joe Biden's so great. There may be tears of joy from libs, but it's just because Trump won't be president anymore. But I really wish we could become a country where everyone just tones it down a little, just calms down a little bit over the political stuff, and stops thinking that everything that happens is the most important thing ever in American politics. It's really not. Go watch a good Netflix show. Speaking of a good Netflix show, we have now, well, I guess it's not Netflix, competitor. Disney Plus is out. And this then is exciting for me. I mean, I grew up watching Disney movies. I remember them all very well. I loved this. I saw The Sword in the Stone so many times. Archimedes, who, what? Sword in the Stone was a fantastic movie. I want to get a dog just so I can name him Archimedes. What do you call him for short, though? Archie or Medes? Anyway, these are the important questions that keep me up late at night. Who, what? Oh, boy, I see no boy. That's when he's trying to find the Archimedes, the owl's trying to find the boy. I do sound just like Archimedes, and you know that.
You do sound just like your Elizabeth Warren impression.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
You're gonna do me like that today?
I am.
That sounds different. Elizabeth Warren.
It's slightly different, but it's pretty much the same.
That's unfair. I'm throwing a flag. I'm producer Mark's throwing a flag.
Aww.
Yeah, that's right. She's sad too. So, hold on a second. I asked you the best Disney. I know the best Robin Hood I asked producer Mark last week was the animated Robin Hood, which was the correct answer, and I was pleased that we didn't have to code red producer Mark because he got that one right. What is the best Disney movie of all time?
Like, are we talking animated or just Disney in general?
Animated. Oh, no, animated
okay.
only. We're not.
Because best of all time is the Mighty Ducks trilogy. Those will always be my favorite movies.
Oh, okay. I've never even seen them. So
Buck. See, this is why you need Disney Plus, so you can go watch
Apparently,
all three.
is that would give me the access?
Yes, it would.
But so they're the best animated.
Animated?
You can only do one.
It's a tough call between Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast for me. I'm going to go Little Mermaid.
All right. Little Mermaid.
Really?
It's bold.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with it. It's bold. All right. I would say, for me, I think you have to go. I loved Aladdin at the time, but I think it's either Sword in the Stone or Lady and the Tramp for me. I mean, I saw those movies so many times growing up, but what makes me think about that right now, not only is Disney Plus now coming out with this, or is out, I think, with this streaming channel, but what is interesting to me is that they've had to do a fair amount of editing of the Disney movies because guess what? Not up to the standards of wokeness today, my friends. So they've edited out, for example, those of you that know Lady and the Tramp very well, which is a great movie. I think Sword in the Stone, Lady and the Tramp, I don't know. I mean, Beauty and the Beast is an amazing animated film. First animated movie to ever be nominated for Best Picture overall in the Oscars. Fun fact.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Aladdin, The Lion King, also fantastic movies. I'm probably leaving one or two out. That should be in that same category of greatness, of awesomeness. But they had to cut some scenes from Lady and the Tramp. And there's one scene that they cut that I knew that they would cut, which is involves two Siamese cats. That's cut now. I remember I know the whole song they sing because I saw this so many times as a kid. I grew up with this movie. But they've cut that entirely from this digital library now of online Disney classics. Because now they're basically saying that some of these Disney parts of these Disney movies that were cartoons for kids are racist. But there's one that I'm a little surprised actually, and it's in Lady and the Tramp as well. Remember the scene? You've seen Lady and the Tramp, right?
Of course.
Remember when the Tramp and Lady are about to have the pasta dinner, and it's like, "This is the night."
They cut that?
Beautiful night. They cut right before. Because the Italian guy goes, "Hey, Giuseppe, get it a pizza or I'll break your face," or whatever. And I'm like,
really?
We can't even do Italian accents anymore on TV? Is this really where, I'm throwing a flag on this too. I don't understand.
It's too stereotypical? I don't understand.
That's what they're saying. It's too stereotypical for Italians.
In a movie about two dogs kissing.
Yes. And it's two Italian guys who are making the pasta. You can't say, "I'll break your face"?
It's ridiculous.
I mean, I don't think it's an anti-violence thing. I think it's you can't do what's next? You can't, what accents are acceptable? I mean, this is what I would say. What accents are acceptable? Look, I understand there's some greater sensitivity when certain people make fun of certain. Italians run the country. Italy's, so what's the problem? I don't understand.
Yeah, this makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense to me.
Especially, it's in a movie. Movies, TV shows should have ability to do whatever. Like, if there's a new Harriet Tubman movie out, can you not say the N-word in that?
Well, no. I mean, it depends on who says.
Exactly, but it's talking about history.
Well, no.
I see
what you're saying. Can the actors even say? Exactly.
Are the actors not allowed to say it?
Well, the actors can say as long as it's clear that they're the bad guys, right? That's kind of But then you get in this interesting point where it's like, well, what are the rules? The rules are always changing. The Lady and the Tramp situation, though, was a surprise to me because that is in advance of even where I thought. That is even more extreme on wokeness than I had anticipated. That you can't say, "I break a you face."
I don't understand how.
Can I not do an Irish accent on
you can't do historical movies anymore because of historical context. You can't do
Scottish accents anymore. Hey, Scottish people, we drink. We've got kills. You can't do any of this anymore. You can't do anything. You can't do anything.
No.
And this is what the left is like taking culture in America and just drowning culture in the bathtub all the time. And there's some stuff that's bad. There's some stuff that shouldn't be said. But everything is now getting thrown into this. I mean, you can't even the Italian guys and Lady and the Tramp.
I'm offended by the Beast now. I just decided.
Yeah.
As an ugly person, I'm offended by an ugly beast.
I think that first of all, the Beast was kind of handsome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, after he transformed into the prince.
No, but I mean, he was like, he had like big lats. You know, I mean, he was like
Were they lats?
He was like, and you know, what is it? He's an anthropomorphic animal or something. I mean, it looked kind of like a dude with like way too much facial hair.
What animal is he supposed to be?
It's not even clear. I don't
Is
know.
it like if you grew your hair out and like covered your face?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of could look a little bit like the Beast from the movie. I think I need the big. He has like big horned teeth. I know horns on his head and big teeth.
Yes.
Anyway, we're just trying to. This is silly time, folks. Like now, everything's getting cut. I'm wondering what else they're gonna find. That's look, I get it. Siamese Cat's song is some stereotypes in there that are bothersome to people. I understand. I'm not saying nothing is allowed to be changed. I'm just saying like the Italian guy's a Lady of the Tramp. Come on, we got nothing anymore. We can't do. Nothing is allowed to be fun. Nothing is allowed to be, funny. It's not even just sensitive areas now. It's going to be everything soon.
If they cut anything from the Mighty Ducks movies, I'm going to be angry.
I mean, I've always said to people, think about the comedies that we. I mean, first of all, Robin Williams' entire body of work is basically now it's going to get canceled. They're going to cancel all of it.
George Carlin.
I mean, these guys, they're the stuff that they talk, the stuff, it's all going to get canceled. Everything's going to get canceled. Nothing's allowed to just be in the context of the time and treat us like adults who can handle that maybe some things have changed, but we can still enjoy the piece of performance or art for what it is. Whew. Anyway. All right, well, let's do roll call.
It's time for roll call.
All right, let's get to it. We have, first up, Tiffany. This is facebook.com/Buck Sexton. If you want to send an email, teambuck@iheartmedia.com. Also, please, if you're listening to this on radio or on podcast, check out Pluto TV. Just download the Pluto TV app. Channel 248, The First is the name of the channel. I'm on it. My man Jesse Kelly is on it. And there'll be other folks joining this merry band of free speech advocates as well down the line. So please do check it out. It's fun to watch what's going on here in the Freedom Hub whenever you can. And with that, we will get to... Oh, and also, as I keep saying, because it really does matter, all I want for Christmas and my birthday, which some of you know are very close to each other, all I want for Christmas and my birthday this year is for every person in Team Buck to get one person who is new to join the Team Buck family by listening to the podcast. That's all I want for Christmas. And if you do that, you've given me my Christmas and birthday gift, which is coming up soon. Do you want to be looking around on Amazon? What does Buck have? I don't know. No, forget all that. Get one person. Just one. Everybody. And if you can get 10, well, then you're a Freedom Hut superstar. Tiffany writes in, Buck, I just finished Friday's podcast on my way home from work. I save your podcast for my hour-long drive so I can stay awake and alert after 4 hours of barn management. All right, cool. Anyway, I just had to tell you, I love that you're a contemporary Renaissance man. You covered everything from the ills of socialism to Sasquatch movies. I laughed so hard at your comment about wanting some Sasquatch backstory. The people in the car next to me must have thought I was nuts. Thanks for keeping us all sane. Shields high. Well, thank you, Tiffany. I'm glad. And, yeah, that was, I guess you were listening to a slightly older show, but you wrote in today, so thank you for your thoughts. Let's see here. Well, sorry, I was going to pull it out here. Ethan, hey, Buck, I'd like your thoughts on the University of Virginia canceling a 21-gun salute for Veterans Day due to students protesting against gun culture. Thanks, love your show. Well, Ethan, I'm sure it's no surprise to you to hear me say that I think that it's absurd. I think that people need to get a grip. I think that we live in a world where firearms exist, and the proper exposure to firearms, including in ceremonies, is something that we should have, and it is a part of our culture. And it just goes to show you, I mean, what's next? We can't have, law enforcement can't carry guns because guns are scary. They look scary. A gun is a tool, just like a knife is a tool, just like a bat is a tool. Hold on a second. So I'm getting some random messages in here. Sorry, there's a lot of like, hello, please invest in my company. Click this link or something. It's like, nope, not going to click that link. Adam, Buck, if we could only plant the idea that communism, socialism isn't Voldemort, it comes as the pink lady Dolores slowly ruining Hogwarts with rule after rule till no one is happy except her. Oh, I didn't read Harry Potter, so did you read Harry Potter?
Yes, Dolores Umbridge is the worst human being on the face of the planet.
Really?
Yeah. How have you never watched Harry Potter or read the books or anything?
I don't know. I have like some weird cultural gaps.
Yeah.
Should I read the books?
Oh,
I feel like
yes. I just reread them like as an adult.
It's still good?
It's still great. I loved it. Yes.
Maybe I should just read all these Harry Potter
I
books.
really, really enjoyed
I
it.
think she's the first billionaire author, J.K.
I believe
Rowling,
so, yeah.
Which is obviously
And the movies are great too, but the books are even better.
All right, we got to vote for me reading Harry Potter. Maybe I have to check this stuff out. We'll see. Sean writes, "Yo, Christian genius billionaire Buck Sexton." Why, thank you, sir. A bit behind on my podcast, so my guess is that of these three to be true that you're a billionaire, can I get a buck? Sean, fan from the real news days to present. No, I mean the only thing that is true about those things is that I am a Christian, a baptized and confirmed Catholic. I cannot claim to be a billionaire, but I would tell you, if I were a billionaire, I would still do this show. I would still do it. So that is how much I love the Freedom Hut. If I were a billionaire, I would still show up and do this show. I mean, producer Mark would be rolling in like a Maybach, or actually, if money was no object, what would be the producer Mark mobile? If this was $1 billion enterprise.
I don't really care about cars that much.
You're not a car guy? I'm not really a car guy either.
But I would have a driver to drive me in rather than take public transportation.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't care what car they take me in.
This is why whenever I travel anywhere in the country now, I just Uber everywhere, which is great. I get to meet somebody, I get to have like a new friend.
Well, it depends on where you go.
I don't want to have a car. I just want someone to. Well,
No, but I mean, if public transportation is good in the city you're going to.
That's true. All right, here we go. Taylor writes, Buck, it's add another point for Buck. Avengers are overrated. Boom! Add one on the board for the Buckster. Amazing.
Congratulations. That's
one.
like 3.
We'll do one. He'll do one. Chris, Buck, love the show. I dig your hair and your stance on current issues and politics. That said, to be fully actualized, you need to rock any of the Chihuahua flavors. Huh? Oh, they are a fierce, handsome, and dedicated breed. The only reason canine or military dog handlers don't use them is that they can't handle them. Aside from that obvious fact, how cool would it be for the headline to be that some terrorist guy was cornered and bested by a fierce Chihuahua? Come on, man, wake up and smell the Black Rifle coffee. I don't know about this whole Chihuahua as working dog / attack dog thing. I think we might be a little bit of a stretch. Although I did love when I was in El Paso doing some reporting on the border. I don't know, about a year and change ago, or no, less than a year ago now. God, I haven't been in New York that long. But the Chihuahua, I was going to say Little League, minor league franchise there. The mascot is like a fierce-looking Chihuahua, and they told me that it's the single best-selling of any minor league franchise gear. The Chihuahua is the best-selling because everyone just likes the Chihuahua logo so much. So there, you got that going for you, Chihuahua lovers. I think my friend Tommy Laren also has it. She's got a Chihuahua named Coda. So some people out there got Chihuahuas. My older brother has a Pomeranian, which is like a Chihuahua with a fur coat on. It's like a very, very, very smooth Chihuahua. Or no, it's not smooth because it's got a fur coat on. It's a very frou-frou Chihuahua, maybe. Bob writes, Buck, sort of off topic, but just to let you know, shields are high. I had to replace a rabbit that I lost due to illness. Finally found a wonderful one, and his name is Langley, our little Team Buck member. All right, Bob. Well, I hope that your rabbit brings you much joy. Thank you so much for writing in. Appreciate it. Patrick, Buck, as much as I wanted the Miami Vice remake to be a great movie, it wasn't. Likewise, Jack Ryan Season 2 stinks. Great actors, but no doubt. But the script was obviously hijacked by the Starbucks and Prius crowd. Shields high, brother. Sully. Well, Sully, thank you so much for writing in. Yeah, I'm not even going to get through the Jack Ryan Season 2, I think. I watched one episode of it, and I was like, this is garbage. I'll watch a little more just so I can make fun of it here on the show. But Valerie, best Robin Hood adaptation, Mel Brooks, Men in Tights. We're men in tights. We roam around the forest looking for fights. I remember that. It was pretty good. And, yeah, I'll take it. That's going to be for the show today, folks. So you know what I want for Christmas this year? And Santa will tell you, I have been nice. I have not been naughty. So tell somebody about the Buck Sexton Show. If you have not already, please check us out on Pluto TV. It's fun for you to have the visual of the Freedom Hut here in New York City. And it's even more fun if we get more and more people to watch, to listen, to be a part of our merry band traveling the forest looking for fights with freedom, shields high.